Hello everyone, my name is Isaruka Yamamoto and today I am playing World of Warships. In particular, I am playing a ranked battle in the Grosser Kurfurst, tier 10 German battleship. And this is in effect the very big brother of the Bismarck. And well, in a sense also of the P.P.S I. Which are both tier 8 German battleships. There is, however, a very big difference between the Bismarck and the Grosser Kurfurst. The Grosser Kurfurst, also known as the Gross Deutschland, proposed H-class battleship, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't actually ever built, but if it was built, it would have been a monstrously large battleship. You can actually see from the size of this ship, it's really wide, it's really long, it's got huge guns, it's got a lot of guns, and it definitely has a lot of guns. I mean, it has 4 times 3 barrels, adding up to 12 barrels, whereas the Bismarck only has 8. And the barrels on this ship are larger than on the Bismarck, so its armament, the main armament, is more than 1.5 times heavier than on the Bismarck. Now, that's just the main armament, and this thing also has a lot of secondary turrets, and we'll see those come into action later on as well. And they also really pack a punch. So, right here I start my battle a bit questionably. With the positioning, and in addition I'm actually shooting a high explosive here for the first salvo. The German high explosive on battleships really isn't all that great, you shouldn't be using it too much. Taking a pretty heavy hit there from the enemy Grosser Kurfurst, which isn't detected yet. But I can reposition pretty safely, so yeah, let's see what we can do from a bit of a better angle out here. This is something, this ship is very large, very clumsy, and I haven't built it for stealth, not at all. So yeah, you get spotted easily, you get shot at a lot, but this thing can handle it pretty well in general. Now what we want to do here is simply see if we can get some shots on the enemy battleships. The Minotaur on the other flank will be a very juicy target, but he's pretty far out of range, and although I could use a spotter aircraft, that wouldn't help in actually hitting him. So while I was contemplating whether to engage the enemy Grosser Kurfurst, a Smolensk popped up, and that Smolensk is actually a fairly good target, though it might be difficult to actually hit. Now, yeah, taking a shot here and the 12 barrels, 12 shots going at him, that's pretty nice. Here's an interesting thing going on. There's a shimakaze coming in. We can focus our secondary guns on him, and you can just see the amount of shells going this way. Now what I do here is I slow down, because there's probably torpedoes coming in, and I activate my hydroacoustic search, and we spot the torpedoes, and you can see that the first wave will easily dodge that. Shoot some shells at him. There's a lot more torpedoes coming in, so we'll have to do something about that. And this is something, the hydroacoustic definitely helps in that you can see those torpedoes coming from quite a while away. But they are still scary because this thing turns like an absolute brick. Trade shared by the Bismarck. That definitely stayed in the family. Um, but I managed to dodge all of the torpedoes, and the shimakaze at this point is probably really sad with his choice to engage me. He's lost nearly all of his HP, and I think he would have hoped that he could take all of my HP, but yeah, that's not what's happening here. I managed to kill him off using my secondary guns, 32 secondary hits on him, and that's the first kill right there. In the meantime, we've actually tanked 1.2 million potential damage, mainly due to the torpedoes. Yeah, our ship is actually looking fairly good. We still have most of our hit points, and it's slowly regenerating thanks to the health buffs that we have in this ranked battle mode. I can just start repositioning, maybe take some shots at the enemy Montana. In this case, I just said that you shouldn't be shooting high explosive in German battleships. Well, in this case I wouldn't be doing much more with armor piercing either, so high explosive can at least set fires. In some situations it's sort of useful. You just really don't want to be using it too much. So we can see here that even though I was nearly fully reloaded, I'm still switching back to armor piercing. And the battle is actually, it's developing slowly, there's not too much going on. Teams seem pretty evenly matched so far, but we'll just lose our Grosse here, and that's quite unfortunate. If our shimakaze manages to take out our Montana, that would be really nice, but yeah, taking a long range shot here at the Minotaur, but yeah, German battleships at long ranges, meh. It doesn't really work that well. The German accuracy of battleships was of course phenomenal. German battleships were the most accurate battleships in the Second World War, but not so much in World of Warships. And that's a shame, really. I still feel that that's something they should correct, even though it would make them broken. So that would require quite a bit of balancing, but yeah. So a couple of hits more, but it doesn't do any real damage. Fortunately though, the enemy Smolensk gets taken out by our Montana, and that's really nice for me, because the Smolensk is well able to hurt the Grosser Kurfurst very much. Just lobbing shells into the superstructure of a Grosser Kurfurst, the Smolensk can easily deal, well, 4,000 damage on average each salvo, and that's every 4 seconds, so that really hurts if he starts doing that. Now the enemy Minotaur could actually hurt me a lot as well, but a Minotaur is a bit easier to counter, and he can't set me on fire either, so I'm less afraid of the Minotaur in itself. It depends on where he'd be though. If he gets too close and he'd be able to torp me, then that would be a very bad problem, but we'll see what happens. Enemy Montana is a bit in a rough spot, Allied Montana, between 3 enemy ships, so yeah, that doesn't look too fortunate. And I just got spotted, and yeah, that should be the Minotaur somewhere on my left. Ooh, there he is. Well, if he starts looking like that, then I'm not too afraid of him actually. To just utterly delete him. That's a nice shot. So now we're just going to play a bit of Ring Around the Rosing with the Montana here. I could just back up and yeah, and wait for him, but then he'd be able to shoot me straight in the broadside. And I don't quite feel like letting that happen. So what I'm gonna do instead is pass to the other side of the island and hope that maybe the Montana is stupid enough to turn around. Who knows? Now if we look at where the enemy Montana is going in our minimap, then he is actually pointing away from me. And that's quite nice, because that does suggest that he is turning around. And because of my hydroacoustic and the shimakaze, I can see what he's doing, but he can't quite see what I'm doing. Up until now I get spotted now, but that's quite fine, because I've got my plan all worked out, and well, his plan is, yeah, less relevant I suppose. I put a heavy punch into him, and well, he put a heavy punch into me as well I suppose, but I got a pretty big head start at this point. So we put our secondaries to work here, and now the main course of action for me is to make sure that Montana cannot actually ram me. If he'd ram me, we probably both die, and I don't want to see that happening. Yeah, fortunately the Montana is of course losing HP pretty quickly, and my secondaries are absolutely tearing him apart. But he is getting close, within 2 kilometers. And that's a bit too close for comfort, really. So I decide to repair my front turret. I genuinely need all of the firepower in there that I can get now, but my secondaries managed to take out the Montana, and now I can focus my secondaries on the Grosse. And this Grosse is also, you know, he's in a bit of an annoying spot. And yeah, right now I can't see him. Now normally for situations like this you'd have hydroacoustic surge. Unfortunately though, that's still on cooldown. So we'll have to wait a bit, but I managed to dodge all of the Grosse torpedoes without actually using hydroacoustic surge. Can just dodge them straight away, and in 10 seconds from now we'll have our hydroacoustic up, and from where the Grosse is shooting it seems like he's still well within range. So I can start aiming for him. Grosse is in range of the hydroacoustic surge as we activate it, and we can just start shooting the Grosse. And yeah, the Grosse is melting away. Down to 2k HP, he's trying to heal, but to no avail. Taking a quick buff on the way, and now we can just swing through and aim for the Citadel of the Republic, and while we don't quite hit it, we still do a massive amount of damage there. And just like with the Montana, it's really important now that we don't actually ram this Republic, because if we ram him then we both die, and the enemy team wins by points then. Now, if I just disable my minimap, or at least make it a bit smaller, yeah, there's a really small margin there, but we barely miss him. And now, if I can get my rear turrets on target, we'll be able to catch the broadside of this Republic. And let's see. There we go, 34,000 damage to this Republic. And if we look at the total score, 241,000 damage dealt. 5 kills, 3 of which close quarter kills, or at least I should say 3 of which are secondary kills. Now the fourth was on the Republic, but that was with the main battery, but that was, I don't know, within a single kilometer, I think, so I think that counts as close quarter. The devastating strike on the Minotaur, Dreadnought medal for tanking quite a lot of damage, receiving a lot of damage and still surviving the battle. Obviously we did take a lot of damage in the end fight there. Kraken for killing 5 enemy ships and the high caliber award for dealing a lot of damage on at least 4 enemy ships, which is quite logical seeing that I've taken out 5 ships. Yeah, and of course a lot of secondary hits, 5 kills, 6 citadel hits, and well, let's have a look at the team score. So in the team score we find 3000 base experience, which also explains the massive amount of regular experience and free experience that we saw in the overview. And yeah, if you compare it to the rest of the team, it's quite obvious that yeah, I tried my best to win this game, and well, I succeeded, so that's nice. I got some complaints during this battle that I will be camping supposedly, and I can kind of see where those complaints were coming from. I think it was the Montana saying that. Because in the early game I was messing around with this shimakaze and then I struggled to get back into the real battle, but well, that's a Grosser Kurfurst, they don't move up that fast, so yeah. I can get the complaint, but really I wasn't camping. Yeah, and then if we look at the detailed report, that's obviously also quite interesting, so let's have a look. So yeah, finally we have the detailed report, and well, as you can see, we dealt a huge amount of damage to the Republic, as well as to the Montana. And that's actually in both cases a mix of damage simply by guns. Of course, to the Republic we really dealt a lot of damage by guns, but also by secondary hits. If we look over here, we actually dealt 71,000 damage by secondaries and 144,000 by main batteries. So 1/3 of the primary damage actually comes from the secondary guns, and that's really an impressive amount. And that's quite unlike in the Bismarck, for instance. The secondaries on the Grosser Kurfurst are really useful. The main battery is also much better, especially the 420mm that I was using. But the secondary battery is capable of doing much more initial damage and not only fires. And in that sense it's also quite reliable in dealing damage to destroyers, for instance, and even to battleships. It simply whittles them down quite a bit. Now for the Minotaur, yeah, I simply deleted him pretty much in one salvo. I hit him with one shell before, but that was like 1000 damage. So yeah, this was 30,000 damage in a single salvo, demonstrating that the guns on this Grosser Kurfurst can actually be quite effective even at some range. This was 10 kilometers, not that much. But the 12 barrels on the Grosse Kurfurst make it very convenient to do these massive salvos. Unlike the Bismarck, for instance, which only has 8 barrels, and then the shell grouping will always be a lot poorer. Of course, you do have to go quite a bit of broadside to get 12 shells off, but in general, if you can make that work, it really pays out. So the Grosser Kurfurst, it's quite a, yeah, I found it quite a pain to actually get here. The Gneisenau and everything below that, they are fun ships in my opinion. The Bismarck is situationally good, but generally quite poor. The Friedrich, the Grosse is just, yeah, let's not talk about it. And then the Grosser Kurfurst, it's the ship that you've been waiting for this entire time. It's what a German battleship should be like. And that's really nice to see that it's more than just a damage sponge. It can deal damage through its main guns, through its secondary guns, and of course you always have the last resort of ramming, even though I desperately avoided that in this battle. So yeah, all in all, pretty good game here, and yeah, the Grosse Kurfurst, I like it a lot better than I ever would have expected. As for the whole secondary thing, yeah, I put it in the title already. Keep your distance. Of course, in light of recent events, the whole coronavirus, yeah, this also goes, well, simply for public life. Stay safe, you all. And I mean this. Don't be too cocky about it. Just, well, stay inside, take care of yourself, and stay safe. I hope to see you guys all around.